Dating as a guy is just depressing. I don't understand how guys use dating apps and don't get depressed and feel like shit about themselves. I get enough matches to have a decent date every now and again, but it's not like I feel like I actually chose those matches, and most of the matches I do get have lowered my standards so much for that I'm not even sure it's worth it. I don't think I'm amazingly attractive, but I go to the gym 6 days a week for the past 4 years and I'm lean enough to have visible abs, and I'm attending university, so I suppose my life is somewhat put together. I think it would be reasonable to have standards like not overweight, etc., but apparently not with Tinder, Bumble. It just sucks that pretty much all matches I end up getting are with SMTHN, like where the person is quite substantially overweight or there's some other quite blatant thing which can be seen as conventionally unattractive. In 6 months of use I've only managed to match with 2 people that I wanted to swipe right on before Tinder crushed my standards. And I get that women have their own problems, etc., but for God's sake, try and make getting hundreds of matches sound like a problem, because the quality isn't good enough when I deadass have like one person on mine. Kinda soul-crushing NGL. I know women also get spammed to death, etc., but a lot of the time how one-sided the interactions and pursuit even after matching is just kind of saddening. Edit. Just in reference to the gym, I just wanted to state that it's a passion of mine and I'm not just annoyed because I joined the gym Go Get Girls or SMTHN. I was just trying to justify me believing I could pass as at least an average-looking guy. I only meant to say that women have higher standards on dating apps as compared to IRL, or at least that's what I've experienced. It also would logically make sense, so I don't see a problem with this. Edit again. I don't even care if my partners were to go to the gym. None of my past partners have, and I haven't cared in the slightest. The people I were referencing that I matched with in the past were quite overly large, and I think there is a point where I'm allowed to say it's too much. This whole thread is just depressing. Dating is depressing. My therapist encouraged me to get on the apps to put myself out there, feel vulnerable and meet new people. All I've done is stare at a screen and become even more depressed by receiving no matches. Dating apps are just online nightclubs. They want women and they promote their profiles like crazy, leading to 100s or 1000s of messages. They want men to pay, so they'll give you a small boost of exposure initially, but then after a few days they'll barely show your profile unless you pay unreasonable premium subscription fees. Almost no one is having fun. Edit. 1. Thank you for the awards. It makes me sad that so many apparently relate to this. I honestly didn't expect this to blow up so much. I was just hoping to have a conversation with Op about the other side of the fence. Which leads me to the next edit point. 2. Why are you downvoting his responses to me? His experience is also valid. We don't know his baggage or if he was aware this is one of the reasons women may ghost or not swipe on people online. He engaged in a conversation and he does not deserve to be downvoted for it. I want him to feel he can engage in other conversations. I don't want him to feel his experience isn't painful. Please don't downvote him, at least in my conversation with him. 3. Please be kind to each other. I wanted to have a conversation, not an argument. I've seen some people comment some very sensible stuff on here, not being rude or offensive, just not quite on the same page as me. That's okay. There is no reason to downvote them into oblivion or make them out to be devil spawn. Winking face. Be kind. Have a conversation, listen to each other. 4. Trauma is real. Yes, being a female online can be traumatic. It can be the stuff nightmares are made of. But I've also seen comments telling men that being constantly rejected isn't traumatic. Bullshit. That shit eats at your self-esteem. It makes you question what's wrong with you and it takes you down the rabbit hole. This is not a conversation about who has it worse. It's a conversation about both sides facing some shitty stuff. Stuff that directly influence both sides, that hurt both sides, that frustrate both sides. The pain they feel is also real. Have a conversation, learn from each other. Pretty please. 5. Extra edit. As this blew up way more than intended, my notifications are swamped, so I just don't have the time to reply to all of you. I do read all of it though, and I'm sorry I can't have conversations with everybody who posts respectful and open stories, no matter if we're in agreement or not. I sincerely would like to. Anyone in the cloning business? No? Nobody? I'm gonna tell you a story. Last time I was on a dating app I lasted about 24 hours. I am a woman. Mind you, it wasn't a matching site. Within those 24 hours I got about 160 messages. Sounds great, right? 160 people wanting to get in touch? Yeah, it's overwhelming. Ain't nobody got time for that. You'd need a secretary to keep up with that amount of messages. Maybe 2 secretaries. So, trying to be a decent person, I made a standardized reply for those I didn't feel like chatting to, and once I had that nailed down I sat down to try and get through Mount Everest of mail. I figured it would be nice to not have to sit and wait for a reply that may never come. Even if it was a no, right? Yeah, I was wrong. Going through those messages and sending nice polite rejections, I got called a bitch, a whore, a gold digger and every other name in the book more times than I have the rest of my life put together. I ended up dreading opening any kind of message, because, quite frankly, I couldn't take any more abuse. I was shell-shocked. Then there's the rather large segment that just wants to get laid. They will send either a short message or a long-ass essay about what they want to do to you, before hello was even exchanged. A lot of these also don't handle rejection well. There were a few guys I may have pursued chatting to if the entire experience hadn't been so utterly disgusting. But I just didn't fancy spending my time in an environment that festered so much negativity. So much animosity against me. Just because I was a woman and therefore either owed them something, didn't reply quick enough, didn't reply with the right reply, or wasn't interested in whatever they were selling. That shit is also demoralizing. I'd happily trade all the abuse I got for one good match, even if the person was overweight. I won't ever be able to forget what I was called on that site. Stuff like this, it's one of many reasons why women don't always reply if they've lost interest. All my friends have a story like this. So tell me again how hundreds of matches can't be a problem. I'm not belittling your experience. I absolutely believe it's soul-crushing. I'm just asking you not to belittle what women go through online. Just imagine trying to be open and honest and giving a guy a chance when the last 10 guys before him called her something awful, because she said no. That shit grinds your soul down. Deleted. Dating apps are flawed because they're run based on algorithms. You can swipe right on whomever you like, but that doesn't mean they'll even see you. The sad fact about dating apps like Tinder is that you gotta pay to get boosted by their algorithm to hope to get more matches. It's a shitty, ineffective way to try and date. I think men and women have never been further apart in our expectations for a healthy relationship than we are right now. 2 tip for you. Try Bumble, and figure out if you're a boring person. On apps, women don't swipe right just on abs. They tend to want to see you having some interests and personality. You talk about gym and weight. Good for you, but anybody can do that. Not even a word in your post about emotional awareness. To my knowledge, this is the department in which 85% men are lacking. Therapy, empathy, attunement with others and yourself, authenticity, comfort with vulnerability. That's the kind of emotional gym you want to hit. As a woman, sure, I can get tons of matches, but only 0.001% will not be an emotionally underdeveloped man worth my time. Tragedy of the commons, my dude. The moment men stop flooding the apps and thirsting for everything that moves, we will all be better off. You can start yourself today by deleting all apps and going out to meet people IRL. If there's 2 things that I hate, it's having to cook and trying to date. Jason Isbell. Dude. Look at your post history. Seriously, would you want to date you? I'm not trying to be rude, but people pick up on energy. I guarantee that your bio or photos give off a vibe that tell women to stay away. All of my male friends on dating apps experience the same problem you do, but not nearly to the same degree. So that tells me that one of the following is likely true for you. A. You're in a super remote area, which sucks, but it is what it is, and you should focus your efforts on in-person dating. B. Your bio is trash and/or conveys exactly the type of person you are. C. You are not nearly as attractive as you think you are, which is ironic given how much grandstanding you've done about fat women. You realize attractiveness isn't just about bodies, right? You say your body is conventionally attractive, but is everything else? If not, you have your answer. That in and of itself isn't an issue. Being unattractive, lacking personality that you can show outside of the gym, picky and rude about it? Yay, huge issue. Just go gay, bro. Both men and women definitely have their own unique difficulties with online dating. We can discuss both sides all day. But I just looked at your post history and I have to be brutally honest with you. You're not really as much of a catch as you think. First post I saw was you calling a woman, some bitch, woo sat on your towel at the gym. Then I scroll further and see a bunch of posts about weed and other drugs. No judgment, I smoke too. But a lot of women won't be into that. This is going to sound harsh, so I apologize, but your fingernails are dirty and there are other signs of uncleanliness in some of your pics. But, the most glaringly obvious deficiency is your attitude. Fix your attitude, and hopefully those other things will follow. Try to start with self-love. I'm sure you have a lot to offer, but you need to do a total reevaluation of how you perceive yourself and others and be brutally honest with yourself about what will make you happy. Don't use dating apps, period. Dude, take my advice. Avoid dating apps at all costs. The whole mass dating, profiling and stacking people is terrible for men as self-esteem. Second, avoid approaching women in places like bars, nightclubs or anything similar, also terrible for your self-esteem. The smart move would be meeting women in a normal everyday environment. Cafes, libraries, books club, grocery store, or for example while practicing a hobby, either learning a language, a new skills, camping, hiking, those types of things. Edit. FFS guys approaching women does not mean bother the chick shopping at the grocery store, the one reading a book in the library, or the one sitting in a cafe enjoying her coffee. No. Approach those that send clear signs of interest. I never meant bother random women everywhere. Dating is shit for everybody, it's not gender-specific. Woman shrugging, medium dark skin tone. Women have to sort through all the garbage, men have to find the right one. Both genders have their struggles. Dating is difficult. I think you can profit from lowering your standards a bit though. Dating apps place all the focus on how the individual looks and not how compatible you may be. Give some of the women you matched with a shot, you may be pleasantly surprised.